Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Rose.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
We are here with our reaction and review for Silo Season 3, Episode 3. My guy, Lukas Kyle. Well, welcome back to the world of Silo. We have missed you, and we also have a lot of questions for you.
I definitely have some questions. The moment that it was kind of brought up that he could possibly be digging his way to another silo, I was like, please, can we have that happen? That's really exciting.
Like, that definitely opens the door for a lot of really fun and interesting things to happen. Like, if we're watching this show for world building, and at least a part of me is, like, I love world building on this sort of program, I think that that is something they could really explore and dive into. I'm glad we got here because this is an episode that is kind of a tale of two halves, where it felt like the first half was a lot of taking time to get to the desired result.
My God. We having Juliette going to like, oh, we're over here talking, to Billing's wife, and now we're over here talking to so-and-so, and now we're here talking to Shirley, and now we're talking to I was like, yo, it did not need to take 35 minutes for her to get to the mine. She just went through talking to so many people. It's just like, why isn't anybody just giving her the information so we can kind of skip some of this?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I'm happy with the end of this episode. Like, how could I not be? Getting Lukas back, getting these questions. Obviously, we'll talk about the Camille of it all.
Yeah, but I felt like the buildup of her going from person to person
Yeah.
to person to person was so slow.
It took a long time to get there. And that's sort of like, if we were all patient enough to make it to the end, like, was it satisfying to some extent? But it would have been a lot more satisfying if they had just sort of sped up, I don't know, the first 20 minutes of this episode.
Yeah, but before we jump into all our beefs with this episode, everything we loved about this episode, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we are here all season long talking about Silo. We will be here after every episode, so hit that subscribe button.
Also, be sure to join our YouTube memberships because over there we are exclusively discussing Silo all season long, and we just put up an exclusive video talking about Helen. Was Helen one of the original people who was a part of Silo 18? There are some very interesting clues. It is a really fun discussion, and we highly suggest you go and check that out.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone who has joined our memberships. It really helps us here on YouTube.
Thank you guys so much for that. Okay, let's just get back to the Lukas Kyle of it all, because I want to talk about my guy Lukas, and beyond all that, I want to talk about what you brought to the table earlier, this idea of whether or not he's tunneled his way into other silos.
It feels like that's gotta happen, right? And I mean, we've sort of seen the spread of all these different silos, that there's so many of them. They're not that far away from each other. He could connect to different silos, but the one that he's probably going to end up connected to, of course, is going to be the one that has Solo in it. How are we not bringing him back?
Well, that's the thing, and I know I'm biased. I love Steve Zahn. I want as much Steve Zahn as humanly possible, and I think his story will be so much better if it's not separate from the rest of the silo. Like, I know that was a big issue with last season.
Well, here's the other thing. Okay, so our silo cast is really big. I
Yes.
mean, this is a huge silo. So if Lukas is burrowing into another fully active 10,000 people silo, that just makes this show so big and this cast so massive that it's just going to get lost. But if he ends up burrowing into the one that Solo is in, then we're just bringing in one guy.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of very interesting breadcrumbs that suggest that this could very well be the case. I mean, for starters, if you guys have been watching Silo with us from the very beginning, I mean, number one, you know, we're not book readers, no book spoilers, but you also know beyond all of that, we have been talking about the idea of tunnels between silos for a very long time. And I don't think it's a coincidence that there has been discussion, especially over these past couple of episodes, about the limitations that they are put under when it comes to how far they can mine, what happens, the safeguard being activated if they go to, it's like, you're not dropping all this information on us for like no real reason here, right?
Absolutely. He's tunneling because here's the other thing about Lucas, right?
Yeah,
How long can he just hide out in the mines for? I
yeah.
mean, it's been a little while already, but can he just live there indefinitely? At some point, he's probably concerned that maybe he's going to end up just getting got down there.
Yeah.
So he's got to have some sort of other plan, right?
He's got to have found a hiding place, and beyond that, he has the resources because of the time he spent as IT Shadow.
That's
He
right.
clearly knows some stuff. I think what makes Silo at times frustrating is that we get a lot of Juliet's point of view. We
Mhm.
don't really get a lot of like other people's perspectives. We didn't always get inside of Bernard's head how much Bernard knew. When did he know it? And like there
Yeah.
is this greedy part of me that wants to see everything that Lucas knew, that wants to see Lucas hanging out with Solo, flashbacks. I don't know how much of this we're going to get, or if they're just going to speed us up to the present where in comes Steve Zahn, and it's just like, okay, you guys can figure the rest out for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I do hope that we do really get to dive in a little bit more here with him, and I'm sure we will. We're only on episode 3.
Yeah, I also am hoping that this is going to continue to fill my Delulu ship of Juliet and Lucas, because now who can Juliet trust more than anybody else here? It's Lucas. Like, she found Lucas. Lucas has more information than almost anyone else in this entire structure.
Okay, not until her memory comes back. I don't want it to be some like really weird situation
Okay,
where
all right,
they're
yeah.
kind of like hooking up and she doesn't remember him and she doesn't remember herself. And like that's just getting into some territory I'm not into. I know we don't have that much more left in general. There's only one more season after this. So maybe we can get her memory back. We can get into another rebellion and then love.
Okay, this is still my big issue with the show right now. Is just, yeah, as you mentioned, we had a meander-a-thon with Juliet going to
Yeah,
all
we
these
did.
different places. I just want Juliet to get her memory back sooner rather than later, and not just because this ship that probably won't sail can sail and make me happy, but just also because it gets the show in a more exciting place.
Yeah, here's the thing. I legitimately thought with episode 1 that they were pushing this along, that
Yeah,
she was going to end up getting her memory back a lot faster than even this. That now we're coming out of episode 3, it's still not here because with Juliet not remembering what happened last season, we're kind of just stuck in this time capsule of last season,
yeah.
almost like pre the rebellion. Like we're just kind of back at the same spot again, not moving. And it's frustrating for Juliet, but it's also a bit frustrating for me as a viewer because I've already been through this last season and it's time to kind of move it along.
I really want things to move forward fast. I will admit, though, I'm a little worried as well about the idea that, yeah, it's great and we can rejoice that Lucas is out of the mines, but it's
Yes.
also Lucas is out of the mines. And that means he's not going to be able to hide for this foreseeable future. I know he's kind of got like a temporary hiding
Yeah,
place, but it's
temporary.
kind of, start and end. Like, there's not going to be some real. It just feels like that's going to be a problem for him. It also feels like there's going to be so many people constantly looking for him more than ever now.
My hope is that he really was tunneling and he really has been kind of back and forth between another silo, or he's just about to be through to this next silo so that he can just get back down there, and maybe we'll have a really fun episode of watching him kind of try to, bob and weave his way back to the mines to get to that tunnel to like just break through that wall. And who's on the other side is Solo.
Okay, Camille, are you really going to try to kill Juliet? Are you really going to listen to the algorithm who's just like, hey, this is easier. You can just go ahead and do this now?
Yeah, I think she would listen to that because what's the alternative? The alternative is putting this vitamin D into the water supply. Her child forgets her husband forgets her, everybody forgets everybody. And it's just a complete reset of like, I don't know who I am or what's going on. And that's pretty miserable. And that's a lot of people that she's going to be affecting with that, or one Juliet. And do I think that Camille would do this? Yes. I'm not surprised at all that she's considering it. I mean, this is Silo and it seems
Yes.
to be Juliet's story. Are they really going to kill her off? I'd say probably not. But I mean, I've watched enough shows now that have killed off main characters, and I'm just like, Didn't see it coming. I can't believe they did that. So who knows?
I've been trying to find, I don't know, a door number 3 to go down here because it just feels like the options are either Juliette gets taken out and then the show just like changes on a dime, or then the
Yeah.
other option here is just that it doesn't work out, something happens to Camille, and then Camille's gone. Like, I want to believe that, okay, is there a way that Camille could go against the algorithm, they could work together? But the problem there is no, because it's just like if anyone is going to be watching Camille, it's the algorithm, other silos, like whatever's behind this. Like, she does not have any fluidity. I think if she does one thing that's against the grain because she's so close to the algorithm, the entire silo goes kaput. And that's why this story and this ending is like so tragic, because Camille, I understand some of what's going through her head right now. Like, she is in a very impossible position. Yeah, she's got a lot of information. She's dangerous because of that, but she's also still human.
She is, and she has a lot of lives on the line here. I mean, the AI is finally just straight up
Yeah.
threatened her, which is what I've been kind of wondering what is going on. I've assumed that that's what's going on, but finally AI is like, safeguard, I can use it. You better do what I want or else. So, I mean, there's a lot of stakes here for her. The idea that she could just take out Juliette and just solve this problem, Juliette, everything that she could remember, it all just goes away. She doesn't have to put vitamins in the water. Everybody keeps their memories, and the silo just keeps going on. And then I was kind of sitting back being like, I'm surprised that the AI hasn't already just pushed this narrative to just be like,
Yeah.
okay, Juliet came back, all the fire, it was okay, but then just fake something like they did with Bernard, because they just kind of told everybody Bernard like burned up in this fire. Well, we've seen from this flashback, if we believe it, that that's not what ended up exactly happening. He didn't die from that. He died from Sims. So why didn't they just make that decision then? Why didn't the AI just say, okay, so she's back in, just whisk her off to the death room. Like, let's just take care of it and be like, oh man, yeah, she initially survived, but oh no, it just didn't work out. Why take this chance instead?
It's a really, really good question, because I think
They must really believe in that vitamin D.
yeah, they really must, because it is just a narrative that could have been pushed, that Juliet could have still been a hero. And I think that's what they're going to try to sell here, is that, oh, Juliet, she was such a noble person. She meant so much. And if she dies at this point, everyone will just move on, believing she is this sort of
That's
hero.
right.
And then they will forget like the possibility of everything else. I want to suggest a very, very tempting door number 4 that is not based in any reality, but just hear me out
All
here.
right.
If Lucas knew enough, could he know where the AI is? And then they could secretly tunnel all the way to the AI and unplug this sucker. And then all of a sudden, everybody is taking. Listen, that's
I
not going to
love
happen.
that you think you can just get unplugged.
Listen, I want to live in a world where taking care of AI is just taking care of, oh, my computer is frozen. I'm going to unplug it. I'm going to wait 5 seconds. I love how they always say that. Nobody actually knows if 5 seconds really matters or not, but
it seems to work.
it seems to work. I wish it could be that simple, but I also don't think that Lucas probably has all that much information.
I think he's got enough that he is a danger, and I do think that he is on his way to tunneling to another silo, and that is a lot of information. So
Yeah.
I feel like Juliet is going to make it out of this. I really
Mhm.
feel like she's going to. Possibly, maybe he'll get up there to be able to just bring her along before Camille gets there. My wonder with the show is, how are they going to get to Juliet to get her out of this situation before Camille just goes down a few floors and kills her? Because if it's really just like, yeah, go take care of this right now, and she's going to go do it, how long is that really going to take? 10 minutes, 20 minutes, even 30 minutes? Who's stopping her? Nobody knows she's about to do this.
Oh, that's the thing. And that's why, for all of the issues with this episode, of which there are many, like, there is a really tantalizing story moving forward where we have like
Yes.
these 3 parallel arcs going, where you have Camille trying to do what she can here before she gets found out. You have Juliette and Lucas trying to pursue their own end game before they get found out. And then there's this idea of Juliette getting all the information. And if she does get all the information, can they stop the safeguard from happening when none of them even know like how to stop it? Like that's the part of this I'm most excited about because I want to believe things are going to change before the final season is over. But like, how do you stop something when you don't even understand the building that you're in?
That's where something that you said earlier, I think, really still comes into play, which is yes, this is Juliet's story, and we are getting a lot of information on her, but there are other characters that could have a lot of information that we need to know, and that person is Lucas. How much do you know?
I'm hoping that they have just saved it because they want to reestablish everyone else. And then episode 4 can be a really big Lukas Kyle episode because he does have a lot to answer for. And he's also in a position right now, like we said, it's tentative. It may not last that long, but he's in a spot where he can actually say some things without everybody just like rushing to him and taking him away.
That's right.
Okay, now we have to take a deep sigh and we have to go back to the past.
Beep, pop, 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 boop. We are in the past. So excited. Listen, I'm so not interested in this storyline. I know it's important. I truly understand. It's important to everything that is going on right now. But I am just, because season 1 and season 2 had us firmly planted in the silo, it was a lot like Lost. And I love Lost. It is one of my favorite shows of all time. But once they got off the island, I was a lot less interested. I was still watching every week. Like, I'm not going to pretend like I wasn't tuning in every week waiting. But I was a lot less interested than I was when everybody was on the island.
Here is just the big fundamental problem for me with the past is just that everything is following a predictable series of beats here where, you know, you've got the coloring book, you're filling in all the colors and all the expected places where, okay, we have, what are these people really up to? Oh, here's a hacker. Here's somebody who can help us. And it's just like every time we find somebody who can help us, of course, something happens. There's somebody always trying to cover it up. It's just we've seen this show so many times already.
You're not wrong. We have seen this so many times, and it is because it's so predictable that every time they're pulling a thread, that person gets taken out, or the recording is gone, or this or that, and it sucks because it's information that I know we need to know, but at the same time, I'm just not that interested in it. Because we kind of know where all of this is leading to at this point with the silos and what's going on and, you know, the mirroring of the vitamin D of what's going on with Daniel's sister and what's now been going on in these silos and that it's all connected in some kind of way. And that mystery is still there. It's just the journey with Daniel and Helen to get to that answer is definitely television we've seen a million times on a bunch of procedurals.
The one thing about the past that I like the most is the part they haven't addressed enough the past couple of episodes. Then bringing back the Lost, the smoke monster in the plane. Like, that's the thing I feel like was really driving. Like, what was that? That doesn't seem normal. That doesn't seem something that we can actually describe it. That's like, that is the thing that's the most interesting. And I want to dig and get to the bottom of that. But when?
Yeah, I mean, they gave us a little bit of that with the black goo, you know, no spoilers if this is in the books, please. But, you know, we had been thinking maybe aliens or something along those lines, that maybe everything that was like, oh, there was this explosion over here. Look at this. So now we're over here flying our planes to go deal with that. But really, here's this group of pilots that are going somewhere else with this older technology. So while some people are looking over here and everyone else is looking over here, here's these pilots going right here so that we can go in and get this information about whatever it is that's creating this black goo, that they have to erase her memory, all this sort of stuff. And that's the real meat that I want to start just making a little more progress on. Right now, it kind of feels like I'm making no progress because of the way that they're going about it. Oh, we're going to go see this hacker. Oh, now the hacker is gone. Okay, great.
Yeah, this is one of those sort of things where if this turns out to be a huge jaw-dropping surprise, I can justify more everything else. That if everything else is predictable, this has to be so unbelievably unpredictable. But if this is predictable, then the entire storyline is a wet fart of predictability when it is, juxtaposed against Silo, this show. Everyone go back to the first episode for a minute here, where we had Rashida Jones, where we had like these big name actors who were suddenly taken out. Like that
Wild.
was one of the best pilots in recent memory, because like the swings in it were so enormous. So to go from that to then this, like that would be an incredible disappointment. I'm trying to hold out hope we're going to move to an interesting spot here.
I am holding out hope because of seeing Charlotte in that plane and the black goo and everything that was going on. I was like, okay, so everything else is just a smokescreen. And now we're getting into the good stuff of whatever this is. This is like a real weird sci-fi kind of problem that's going on here. And I would like more information on that. And I don't have to have it all at once. I appreciate a slow ride, but the slow ride still has to be interesting.
Yes, it still has to be a ride. We have to be moving just somewhere. And with that, that's what we got on Silo Season 3, Episode 3. And we want to know from you guys, how much does Lukas Kyle know? Is he digging to other silos? Has he already done it? When are we going to find out? Share in the comments and join our YouTube memberships. As we said earlier, we have a new video up that is all about Helen. Is she an original part of Silo 18? Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you.
We'll see you here next time.